Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and what we're looking at are two aspects. We're looking at the Sun square Neptune and also Mercury square Neptune. We've had Mercury square Neptune already, and then it went retrograde, and then it's going to happen again. So I'm going to show you with this chart, and what you can see here that the Sun is 28 degrees at the moment, but that's been squaring Neptune and it's come out of the square, but it's still sort of applying, but what we've been going through. And then the Mercury square Neptune here, I'm going to show you how that's going to move. But first of all, what I want to address is how that's been looking on my own chart. So this is my chart. For your chart, you can go to astro.com here, astro.com, and you can pull up your own chart. So let me get my spotlight. And you can see that on my chart, Mercury is in my 7th house. It's currently on my moon. And you can see here, because it's 16 degrees, my moon is 17. So I've got a square there. So that for me is also squaring my Pluto and Uranus here. And then it will square my MC. So we can see how this works in alignment with our chart. And then also the Sun, you can see here, was squaring Neptune for me down here. And this Neptune is on my Chiron and it's on my Saturn. So we can, really dig in deeply on chart work to see how the current transits are playing in our own charts. So now if I go back to new share and we go to the emanated chart, and the Sun square Neptune, what we've been going through as a transit is that it has a weakening effect on our vitality, and it makes us hard to get motivated or feel enthusiastic about anything. So if you've been feeling that over the last week, I know I definitely have been feeling that. So not only are we going to feel our own aspects in our own chart, we're also going to be feeling the aspects of the collective. So it can, feel like not feeling enthusiastic and feeling, especially, when it comes to hard work, we might have been feeling like we've had to really push ourselves. It's also where we, feel like we can be allergic to work as well and susceptible to psychological and the health issues. And I've definitely had a few days where I felt difficulty, particularly with the Mercury looking at, and also Saturn, actually, I would mention Saturn is moving back into my 2nd house of my values. So I noticed where the Saturn, if we can see Saturn is up here, it's just moved back into my 2nd house of values. It moved into my 3rd briefly. And also we've got Jupiter is going to be going retrograde as well. But if we take the Sun, which has been squaring Neptune, and we can maybe see that, that we've had some deceptive influences, and really we want to get things above board and in our dealings through this transit. And this transit is not the best time for high stress or competitive things, business dealings or negotiations, because we can feel like we're a bit soft, and there's a greater risk of being taken advantage of while that's been going on. And we can see, if we go back by days, and we can see when that was exact. So 23 degrees 23, this is the 14th of June, and now we're at the 19th. So it's going to orb out, but this is what's been going on. It's also where, dealing with our health issues and feeling, worries about our health, and also any medical operations. I don't want to scare anybody out there, but the idea of medical operations or medical tests, because we can get screwy answers during this time. Also infections, we would have had to have watched out for when we have a weakened vitality. I would say that when COVID started, that the Sun and Neptune were conjunct. If we go back to March 2020, we had Mercury conjunct Neptune. I can show you that, actually. Why not, as I'm on this now. So it's also where we can, with the square, there can be deception and dishonesty in our relationships, and secrets are harder to keep and also but harder to uncover at this time. And our imagination can be quite fantastic with drama and art and such things. And entertainment and charity work and fighting for social causes are an excellent way, you know, because of the ethereal energy. Also religion and other forms of spirituality, we might, you know, feel like we've lost a bit of faith. So if you feel like you've lost faith, then this Neptune to Sun is what's going on there. The Mercury square Neptune, I want to go back here. You can see that it's at 18 degrees, so it's going to continue going back for a few days, retrograde, and then it will go forward. But if we go back to when it was square, let's take this 21, 23. So it was a square on the 5th of June, and it's gone retrograde. And then it will go direct again and hit that square again. So when this started, which was around the 5th of June, 5th, there you go, 23, we got there. Mercury square Neptune transit distorts our thinking and can confuse and complicate discussions and business dealings. It's also where we giving and receiving instructions can suffer from lack of clarity and misinterpretation. It's also, if we've got to deal with any business or government or legal matters, you know, that we need to seek advice during this time, and it's going to happen again. So as it did happen, and we know that we're going back into that on the first week in July. So also dealing with families or friends, it's better to stick to the basics of communication, because our imagination can lead to sticky situations and deception. It's also where our level of confusion can increase, and insecurities that are brought in during this transit that's going on. And also to have, you know, we can want to watch, you know, our thinking as well, because to avoid treachery and scandal. It's also that any white lies can lead to embarrassment and the need to, you know, be more convoluted in cover-ups. It's also where we can be susceptible to believing conspiracy theories or strange and extreme spiritual and religious views at this time. And we need to protect ourselves against pushy people, and, you know, also watch our aura, because, you know, it's like the stickiness of, and making sure that we stick to suitable activities during this time, like we could, you know, poetry and creative writing, and avoiding any, you know, psychedelic stuff or drugs and alcohol. Really not good for us anyway, but during this time can really throw us over the edge. So you can see that there. Then this was the 4th of June. So let's watch the Mercury. It's gone retrograde at that point, 9th of June, and we're going backwards, forwards. We're going forwards, actually. We're going forward. That's the Mercury messing around with Neptune, and then Mercury retrograde. So this is the 22nd of June, and then we've got Mercury's gone direct. So watch. There it's stationed. It's stationed on the 22nd, which is a few days away. And then it's going to go direct, and it's 17 degrees here. 19, 20, 21, and the 23. And then it's in another square again. So we're going over stuff clearly. We're going to gain clarity as that moves off. 25, 26, and that's the 10th of July. At this time, we've got Jupiter that's gone retrograde. I'm going to go back so we can see this. Days. There you go. It stations on the 20th, and then station, and then it's retrograde on the 22nd, and that's going to go retrograde until October. And we've also got Saturn retrograde, and Jupiter's going to move back into the sign of Aquarius, and that will go on for months. I'm going to show you what I said about this Sun Neptune, and I'm going to go back to, let's say, the 8th of March 2020. So you can see that 2020. Okay, there you go. So we can see the Sun, 8th of March 2020, the first week of lockdowns. We had the Sun in connection with Neptune, and the Sun moved over Neptune on the 9th of March. I think the 9th of March, we also had a moon going on here. The moon well, actually, I'm just thinking if it was the 9th of March, actually, I'm going to see this moon because the moon was in Virgo and it was a full moon. So let's go by hours. Let's see, hours, minutes, hours. So we're going to go, we want it to go to 19 degrees of the sun. There you go, 19. There you go. So that was a full moon, but it was also, we had the Neptune involved there as well. So that would have been the 9th of March. There you go. So that was fascinating that that went on, and we were in the first week of COVID, and we had the Mars up here that was just about to go, it went over the South Node, and then it was going to hit Jupiter and Pluto, then Saturn. So we saw all of this play out last year. So coming back to today, which is the 19th of June, 2021. And we got here, so we can see what's going on today. We've got the square moving off and here, and then we're going to be going into the square again as Mercury goes direct. Fascinating how astrology shows us where we're at and how the collective is figuring things out and what we're feeling. Quite beautiful tool astrology is. If you want any tips, or if you've got any tips or anything that you've seen below there that you want to mention in the video, then let me know and put a message below, and I'll interact with you. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.